What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Metalfoes Dracoslayer deck profile. The new support for Dracoslayer was so ridiculously overpowered, and I think people really sleep on how insane this really is in Metalfoes. I want to say it's probably better in Metalfoes than in any other decks because both Ignis and the field spell trigger to summon a monster from the deck when they are destroyed by a card effect. And what just happens to destroy cards by card effects? Oh, every single Metalfoes monster. So inherent synergy that makes your deck ridiculously unfair, because if you have a pendulum monster on the field with basically anything else you can make beyond the pendulum, search your astrograph, and this is where you start vomiting freaking 10 billion monsters on the field, because even beyond the pendulum has a Magician's Souls-esque effect of being able to destroy your own combinations when you pendulum summon. So you pendulum summon, destroy your combinations, search 2 cards, and then astrograph, search, Metalfoes Mytherium, bounce back astrograph, destroy a card again, astrograph again. Goddamn, what the hell. Anyways, before this deck profile starts, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you're not, you're kind of misplaying very hard. And by the way, as soon as we get 1,000 likes, I will be making a live stream on this deck. And now let's jump right into it. Very simple. I'm playing 3 of every single Metalfoes monster out there that has the effect to destroy a card you control. So the level 9 Metalfoes monster is the only one that I'm not playing because it doesn't really do that. So in other words, it kind of sucks. And it's also non-pendulum summonable because it's level 9. So you gotta summon it off of Metalfoes counter, which ironically sucks in Metalfoes now. It's funny because it used to be the better one. It used to be better than combination, but things have changed. We're in 2022 where a combination is broken because you send it with souls or you destroy it to search your cards instead of having to wait until your card gets destroyed next turn. Bro, there is not gonna be a next turn when you make 65 billion negates, Jeffrey. But yeah, 15 Metalfoes monster with 3 Summoner's Art, so 18. You could play Painful Decision, but it kind of sucks because it's worse than Summoner's Art. It's once per turn, and if you foolish your cards, you might not have enough names at the end. So I don't know, I've never been like a really big fan of Painful Decision. Summoner's Art is way more than enough, and whatever, I guess just spell cards for Magical Abductor, but you can easily cut this out. It really isn't needed. And then obviously triple Abductor with double Magician's Souls and double Illusion of Chaos. I think this ratio actually kind of makes sense when you're playing 47, because yes, this is a 47 card deck. Abductor is really unfair because even if you draw souls, you can search Droll and Logbird or Effect Veiler. Both are level 1 spellcaster monsters, because Abductor doesn't really search a pendulum monster on the field. That is the skill effect rather, but you're never going to be using the skill effect of Abductor. That doesn't come up at all. It's only really the effect on the field because it's really easy to activate a lot of spells because your Metalfoes cards, they kind of free up your zone so you can keep destroying yourself and then keep activating more Metalfoes. Therefore, basically 3 Metalfoes plus Abductor leads to searching a card with it. And that's obviously always going to be the souls. You send your 2 combinations and you go plus 65. Alright, 1 astrograph for slightly obvious reasons that I'm not going to be explaining. And that's already it for these main deck monsters. Now, for the other monsters, I'm playing triple Ignis with double Majesty, 1 Vector, 1 Droll, and 1 Effect Veiler. Now, the Majesty Pegasus can actually search very disgusting floodgates by the name of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, and also Zombie World, which I'm actually going to pull up in 2 seconds. There we go. So these 2 field spells, you can actually search them. This is most likely something that you're going to want to do in Game 2 and Game 3. Not really in Game 1, but you could, in theory. It's just that if you draw them going second, they're not, like, super ideal. And, I don't know, like, discarding a card is also not the kind of thing you want to do if you don't know what your opponent is playing yet. But I guess Secret Village is always a good card if you're going first. And going second, whatever, worst case scenario, you just don't do anything with it. You destroy it with your Metalfoes, basically. The worst of the worst case scenario. But yeah, very broken card, and you always summon it off of the Ignis, and off of the field spell, you can either summon Majesty or Ignis. But yeah, the field spell and the Ignis kind of have the same effect when they're destroyed. Basically, just summon a Dracoslayer monster from the deck. And now the Vector is not really a card that you use for its effect, but rather just for Draco face-off, and that's about it. Honestly, that's really all I have to say there. And now for the spell cards, it's 1 Parametalfoes Fusion with 1 Metalfoes Fusion and 1 full Metalfoes Fusion. So Parametalfoes is actually pretty interesting. You can use 1 monster from each your hand, field, and face-up extra deck in order to fuse. It is hard once per turn, unfortunately. Unlike Metalfoes Fusion, which is infinite times per turn, only the shuffle back from the grave into the deck to draw 1 card is once per turn. But this specifically uses only monsters from the hand or field, whereas this even allows you to use cards from the extra deck. Well, 1 at least, but that's still very nice. And then the full Metalfoes Fusion is a tax. It's literally the worst brick to draw. but I mean, it's still kind of utilize. It's what makes you get 2 interruptions on your opponent's turn. So I'm a big fan. But if this deck can get a little more consistent, you can maybe start affording to like cut the full Metalfoes fusion completely and just immediately end on the Alcahest instead of Orichalc into Alcahest, because that's how you would actually do it. Anyways, we're also playing no, obviously I already covered that. The Upstart Goblin can be cut. It's just that when you play spell cards with Abductor, it's pretty good. But, I mean, Upstart Goblin in 47 card deck is very marginal in what it really does. It's basically just for the spell counter, and that's it. For the extra deck, 1 Orichalc, 1 Vortex, 1 Azortless, double Mithrilium, 1 Alcahest. So 6 fusions overall. 1 Absolute Dragon, 1 Dweller, 1 Unicorn. Sorry, Jesus. That is not at all a Unicorn. That's not even a freaking Link 3. Appaloosa, this is a Link 3. There we go. Selene, Phoenix, Hita, Beyond the Pendulum, IP Masquerena, and Link Spider. So Selene is good for, again, obvious reasons. You could also play Access Code Talker. Phoenix is good because you can out anti-spell in this deck, basically at the speed of light. You can go normal summon a Pendulum and then make Link Spider and then special summon a Pendulum from the hand, and then make Phoenix discard 1 pop the anti-spell and proceed to play from there, whereas most other Pendulum decks can't really do that, unfortunately. I guess with the field spell, you can also out the anti-spell by going Activate and then normal summon something and then use the effect of Majesty in the hand to like destroy a card. Now, actually, I don't think that would work because it has to be a dragon. Never mind. Yeah, that would have been nice though. And of course, Magician Souls, like so many ways. So obviously the Phoenix is like an obvious one. The Hita doesn't really have to be played. You can, again, like I said, play Access Code instead. Or Cross Sheep, but it doesn't really make much sense. Like you don't really need it anymore. Things have changed. And of course, IP Masquerena, so you can make the Appaloosa on your opponent's turn. That way, Appaloosa is indestructible by card effects, and you get to link off your Absolute in order to summon the Vortex, which is broken because when you summon Vortex on your opponent's turn, you bounce back a monster as well, and of course it's an Omni Negate, so it's even better to summon Vortex on your opponent's turn than on your own turn because of maximizing the value with the card. Yeah, and by the way, Azortless is basically just a pop. It's not like a super broken card, and this is just a steal, so yeah, it's nothing really worth explaining here. I guess the Orichalc isn't just a pop as well, it's actually a double Chaos Max for every single one of your Metalfoes monster. That's actually kind of nasty. But yeah, everything here makes a lot of sense, I suppose. Even if you get debarred for fusion, you can still play very well because your other cards are just... I mean, you still have Xyz, you still have Link monsters. This deck is overall just amazing, man. It's probably one of the best Pendulum monsters. Well, I mean, I guess if you get debarred for Pendulum, you're kind of screwed, but at the same time, at least you can still fuse. So, and Link. So at least there's still that. Anyways, for the side deck, idea section, not side deck, the 2 hand traps that I'm already main decking, so no reason to... Yeah, the Secret Village that I just misclicked on. A Morphage Sloth is a relatively cute card just overall in Pendulum decks, but in this deck there's literally no synergy at all. This card is kind of just ass now. I already explained how I didn't really like Painful Decision. Super Poly is very interesting because this deck can abuse what I want to consider probably the best Super Poly target in history, which is Metalfoes Crimsonite. Well, first of all, it's a vanilla monster, no effect. And the requirements are 1 Metalfoes monster with 2 or more monsters with 3,000 or less attack. So in other words, you can use any 2 monsters your opponent controls with the Super Poly. And that's actually very nasty because you can go normal summon a Metalfoes and then go Super Poly, break your opponent's full board. And it's a 3k beat stick, so you can jump over something else. And then in main phase 2, you get to play. And for the other cards, I don't know why I'm playing Boral Sword, Unicorn, Amalgama's Ass Cheeks, and yeah, so whatever else. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.